So my grandma died last summer after a long, full life, and I inherited a small fraction of her wardrobe, which for a normal person would basically be an entire wardrobe. I have been procrastinating going through her clothes and trying them on because we were not very close and it feels very personal to be wearing her clothes. When I look back on who she was as a person and our relationship, I often feel like we have literally nothing in common. She just feels like she was from a different time on almost every level. I also didn't see her very often growing up. I grew up in Western New York and she lived in Florida for most of my life. So I only saw her really once a year, and that turned into less as I got older. So we didn't really have the time together to develop a close relationship. One of the main reasons I feel like we had nothing in common is that my grandma was German. She grew up in Germany during World War II and was kind of an older teenager by the time the war ended. And she had a very difficult and traumatic childhood, which definitely altered her worldview and her personality, probably permanently. And I often wonder what she would have been like if she had not had to experience what she experienced as a child. She was just hard to get to know on a personal level. She was very stubborn. She could be quite cold. And I just feel like me growing up in America and just having a totally different childhood than the one she had in a different period of time just made us so different from each other. And it's almost hard for me to believe sometimes that she is my immediate family member. I think sometimes people who don't have immigration in their direct lineage don't realize kind of two things that are contradictory. In some ways, it's so easy to lose the culture you came from. Like, I really don't feel connected to German culture at all, really, but sometimes like I look at my friends and their families who their grandparents were born in America and like their life and traditions are just so different from my family. I think people don't realize that it takes multiple generations to like fully immigrate and naturalize into a new country. So even though I have these complicated feelings about my grandma, I do think that we for sure had one thing in common, and that is our deep love of clothes. And looking at her wardrobe, like she was a lifelong collector of clothes and jewelry and accessories, and she had incredible taste and distinct personal style. She loved colors. She was very playful. She loved clothes with beautiful silhouettes. It is cool to look at her clothes and see how they changed over the decades. She has clothes from the 50s that she got when she was still living in Germany that she had a tailor custom make for her. These beautiful, like feminine, structured 50s silhouettes with matching jackets and skirts. And then seeing how that changed into the 70s, she was wearing that 70s color palette, like oranges and navy blue, flowy dresses with mod prints. And then she did have a lot of shoulder pad action in the 80s, which I didn't take too much of that. But throughout all those changes in the decades, like you can really see her personal style stay the same through the trends. I don't know how to describe it, but sometimes when I look at these ensembles, it just looks like her. But even though her life and experiences and personality are so much different than mine, I do remember how putting on her wardrobe just brought out this playful, joyful side of her that I didn't see very often. And I think that she would be really happy to know that I am doing the same thing with her clothes and with mine.